My name is Raymond Karczewski. I am a living Christ. That's a shocking statement for most of you to grasp. You see, I'm speaking to you through my intellect, which creates words and transmits those words to your intellect. Now, the intellect is a evil, but necessary evil. And the only way that man can find peace in his life is through a balance of the two minds that he has operating at the same time. The subconscious mind, the non-dualistic mind, the creative mind, the mind of God, the mind of truth, the mind of love. You understand? However, we are brought to this planet, to this level of consciousness, this vibration on Earth, to live in a dualistic, intellectual energy, the split energy, the divided energy. And we must learn how to balance the two minds, the infinite mind of the subconscious, along with the finite, dualistic, split, divided mind, the satanic mind of intellect. That's what our purpose is. Many of you have gone through life asking the question, who are you? Who am I? And what is my purpose? I just told you. I wiped away the mystery of your existence, the pain, the suffering that you experience and don't know why. You try to seek peace, you want love, you want understanding, you want oneness, and it eludes you. Why? Because you're trapped in your satanic, dualistic, intellectual mind. The mind of technicality, the mind of illusion, the mind of a dead fantasy world that you believe to be real. Why is it a fantasy world? Because it lacks permanence, infiniteness. The subconscious mind is infinite, timeless, beyond time and space, beyond dimensions. It is a source of all energy, of all creation, of the infinite universe. It is the environment of God. What you don't understand is that you are that material representation of God through your subconscious mind. You create the quality of your life. You create the environment that you live in. It's all by choice. Now, when choice enters into the picture, you're swept up into the conscious intellect, the divided, satanically ruled intellect. I say satanically because It's based in eternal opposition within itself. It leads to confusion. It leads to violence. It leads to power. It leads to victimization, to wealth and poverty, to peace and war, to insanity, to drugs, to alcohol, to any escape from the conflict that rages within. And if one cannot stem that energy, they project that energy outwardly and create their life. That's what life's all about. And you are the creator of your life by the choices that you make. You're God. You're the God that you pray to. You see, you've been trained into a dualistic mind through schools, through government, through religion. They tell you that there is a supreme being responsible for everything, including your life. That makes you a slave. It's merely a belief. Now, that life, I say, is dualistic and time-bound, with birth and death. The subconscious mind is infinite, beyond time, therefore beyond birth and death. It's immortal. God is immortal. You are immortal. But you only come to understand that when you find the balance, you strike the balance of living in a hellish, dualistic, conflicted world. But you are in balance with the creation and understand that it only operates if you consent to it. You see, the consent is evidence of dualism, the you and the not you. You consent to something other than you, and that is the nature of a created environment of dualism, with all of its conflict, all of its confusion. Lately, I've been listening to an intellectual. His name is Jordan Peterson. The man is excellent at what he does, beyond compare. He has it down pat, and he's quite popular with you. With you. You understand? The you that I'm speaking to is the created intellect. And Jordan is quite understandable by the intellect, by the trained intellect that is searching for truth, searching rather for the idea of truth, I should say, that is based in beliefs and concepts and ideas and superstitions. It's all fantasy. What is real is what is, the sum total of what arises from that kind of thought structure. Are you at peace? Are you at one? Do you know what love is? You can only know that if you are in touch with your subconscious mind that is in balance with the conscious intellect. The primary creator is the balance of one's life between the subconscious mind and the satanic conscious intellect. But unfortunately, most of you are searching for that truth, for that oneness, for that love. And it eludes you. That's what life on earth is all about. It's a school, a spiritual school. And its manner of teaching is pain, suffering, mistakes, confusion. And you either learn by it and grow spiritually until you find that balance. You find your way back to the subconscious, non-dualistic mind, and you're comfortable with creating a world. Even though you pass through the veils of the filters of the intellectual mind, which necessarily requires a dualistic language, the energy that resonates within you is unmistakable to all. That's what love is. And we're all searching for it. And either we find it, or we struggle until we die. But we don't die. You see, the body dies. The body is merely a vessel that carries the spirit of your true self, your godliness. But it cannot function in the structured divisions of the filters of the intellectual mind. You can pierce through the veils to the heart of the truth of one, but if you're not clear within yourself, you will be subjected to violence, obstructions, and resistance, great resistance by those who maintain their adherence to their intellectual trained mind. The mind trained by schools, by governments, by authority symbols, by religions. You understand? Authority is merely an illusion. It is when you give up your energy, your sovereign, God, non-dualistic energy to the mystery of an authority. Another man who claims authority over you, but he is merely another manifestation of yourself because you've created him in your intellectual mind. Otherwise, you are all that is. And that's really the definition of God. That's what you're searching for. You're searching for yourself at the balance of the two minds that you possess. No question about that. Your subconscious mind is intuitive. It grasps the energy, whether it's conflicted or whether it's whole, complete. In other words, holy. That's the meaning of love. You understand? But when you go to school, those definitions are changed to fit an agenda. And that agenda creates countries. It creates religions. It creates fantasy organizations in which it calls for your consent to belong. Understand? You're the creator. You create that scenario and you pray for relief, for liberation. You pray to God. You don't understand that you are the God that can release you. You are the only God that can release you from your pain, your suffering. But you cling to your dualistic pattern, your habitual pattern learned by schooling, by training, to pray to a God other than you. So you live in a world of you and the not you. And the not you is the rest of the world. And that's what you are struggling with. I'm a very simple guy. You look at me and you see an old man. I'm 82. About 3 months ago, I suffered a stroke. It deprived me of speaking, and it paralyzed me to some degree on my left side. As you can see, I've recovered somewhat. My speech is still affected. And so you may be turned off by my appearance or by my speech, but that is the product of struggling with the dualistic world that we have created in our own minds. Even though I have, since the age of 5, had this non-dualistic understanding of the subconscious mind, I still had to live in the world of dualism, as you do. And that amounts to all of the experiences that I've had. And I've stood fast. I've overcome them. But they keep repeating. That's what the satanic intellect continues. Temptation tempts you to give in to your dualistic doubts. And your only duty is to remain balanced, to stand up, to be sustaining in spirit, in the oneness. You can't pretend. That's what the world of dualism is all about, pretense. You pretend to be holy. You pretend to be religious. You pretend to be patriotic. But look at what that brings. Death, destruction, poverty, wealth, but no balance, no love. I have sought to bring that to you. And Jordan Peterson also seeks to bring that to you. But as you can tell, our methods for communication are clearly diverse, wide apart. Jordan is much more easier for you to understand than I. I understand that. However, I speak to you truth. Not the idea of truth, not the concept of truth. I resonate with that energy of oneness. That's what truth is. I have great respect for Jordan. And he is on the spiritual path just as well as you and I have been, are, will be. You see, all those things exist now. They're beyond time. And what you make of them dictates the quality of your life. Jordan is working at it. I, too, am working at it at a different level. Ponder that and see what happens. Thank you very much.